Let's give you an update on the markets now, and local trade poised for mixed trade today, with the JSE expected to remain firm, but the rand set for a sluggish performance. South Africa's stocks closing in the green on Friday, boosted by gains in mining and banking sector stocks, while the rand, on the other hand, weakened against the dollar. Let's speak now to JustOneLap founder Simon Brown, who joins us and looking refreshed. I'm not going to say where you were, Simon, but I have an inkling. Let's start off with a quick overview of how the local index, including the rand, are faring at the start of this week.
Morning, Polly. I'd expected a little better. US on Friday was largely flat and didn't go anywhere. It was only a half day after they were closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday. But Asian markets this morning had opened weaker, and that has followed through into our market. The top 40s off 0.25%, industrials off 1/3, and then financials and resources a little under 0.5% lower. As you mentioned, the rand trading weaker, which is a little bit strange because we've seen some dollar strength. And against the dollar, we're out at 18.78, 23.70 against the pound, and 20.57 against the euro. I expect some rand strength to start to flow through, but we're not seeing it at this point. On the commodity front, gold is strong. Gold futures, $2,031 an ounce. We've got Brent at 80.15. PGMs looking good. Palladium platinum 942, and palladium $1,060 an ounce.
Let's talk commodities. Oil prices down so far for the day. Well, things might improve. We don't know. But the Brent crude falling towards the $80 per barrel mark. What's driving market sentiment there?
Yeah, Brent's off 0.5%. It was below 80 earlier this morning. I think there are a couple of things. Again, it's fears about the GDP global growth, recession fears in the US. This isn't a new story. We thought we'd have a US recession this year. It hasn't happened. A lot of folks are saying it'll come next year, maybe in the second half. But broadly, the global economy is sort of okay. It's not thrilling. But I also think production. We've seen production cuts from Saudi Arabia. Russian oil is supposedly sanctioned, but is certainly getting into the market, most notably India and China. Some countries such as Nigeria and Iran are struggling to get to their OPEC plus target, but I think others, Kuwait most notably probably, maybe a bit from Iraq as well, the UAE, I think they're pumping a little bit more. So that sort of supply and demand balance is probably tilting a little bit to the supply side at this point in time, and that is keeping the oil price under pressure.
Let's talk company news. Standard Bank publishing a voluntary trading update for the 10 months, which concluded on the 31st of October 2023. Talk us through their numbers.
A good set of numbers. Some of the numbers are slowing, and that's because of base effect. I mean, what they call a net interest margin, that's going to be lower. It's still growing, but growth is down on last year simply because of base effect there. Bad debts doing okay, still below 1%, which is top of their target range through the cycle. Jaws effect, which is the benefit they get from higher interest rates, those are still doing very well. Costs are up, but not as much as they were in the first half of the year. That had been 16%, so we can probably say low double-digit increases there. Overall, no hard numbers coming out from Standard Bank, but I thought a really good update from them. The stock is down a couple of cents in trade this morning, and I think the market is saying this is pretty much in line with what we were expecting.
Let's conclude with Oceana reporting a surge in profit, and it grew the sales volumes of its popular Lucky Star brand, despite the local consumers feeling the impact of the struggling domestic economy. Simon, talk us through their numbers.
Yeah, so the Lucky Star doing very well. They didn't pass all of the increases onto the consumer because of, or as you mentioned, a consumer under pressure, but they're managing to get volume pick up on that. Some margins a little bit squeezed, but revenue doing well. Broadly a good set of numbers from them. The US doing well. Interestingly, coming out of the US operations, they're saying that they're struggling to hit full volumes, and that's because of the excess heat that they're experiencing in the US. They've got some pressures. Obviously, diesel a big part of their cost base. We know what's happened to the price there, but they're getting good prices, and they really boosted inventory in the previous period, so they had a lot of stock which they could sell through, so they really benefited from that. A good set of numbers out of Oceania. Stock up just over 2% in early morning trade.
JustOneLap founder Simon Brown, thank you very much for that markets update.